So, welcome to day 2. So if you haven't guessed already, I'm doing a family portrait for Epic Kate, who's a YouTube friend of mine, and Katie does these amazing conversations with interesting people every week, and also vlogs and creating memories of her family, along with live streams with Morten, her husband, talking about various subjects and learning some Swedish words. So they're a lovely, happy family, and so I've got them all smiling. I chose those photos for this portrait, which is more of a challenge, but I like a good challenge. Well, I've cheated a little bit by using the iPad to sketch the photo, but it means that my proportions will be right, and I can now just go with the energy and enjoy and play around with it now that I know the lightness is there. But I've spoken far too long now. Let's get back into the montage, and there'll be a bit of voiceover here and there, but I'm going to concentrate on the painting. I don't know what I'm going to end up filming, but often I film the most interesting stuff when I'm not thinking about it. So let's go. So Katie has seen the initial pencil transfer, but what Katie doesn't know is that I actually started the pencil transfer with the carbon paper once again, because the other canvas had a slight nick in the wooden panel, so I decided to start again. So this is a brand new sketch, and what Katie won't be seeing is the application of the paint, because Katie and her family wanted to be surprised by this painting when it arrives. And so I'm having to just decide on the colours, and at the moment I'm just building up this wonderful foundation, and then I will have to decide at the end whether to add texture and go a bit more crazy with the colours or not. But at the moment I'm fairly happy with it. I just don't want it feeling too sleepy. I want it having some life in there. So that's usually the final stages that I decide later on. So if you saw the 1000 video which Katie edited for me, you will have seen that I had a few self-doubts and concerns. And I think this is really just from making the mistake of trying a new technique and a new subject matter, sending it to someone who I wasn't quite sure what the reaction would be. Whereas this is much different and more comfortable because it's for a friend, and yeah, I just really was getting into this today and enjoying just playing around with the different colours and textures, and I may have to add a bit more craziness into the final picture, but my last image I sent Katie was of the Nostrils of Death, her signature move at the end of her videos, and so I think Katie and her family will probably be okay with a little bit of craziness, a little bit of unusual colours, and I'm going to try and keep the lightness as best I can, but I'm also going to play around with it and not play it too safe. It's amazing how difficult it is to make something drip when you actually want it to drip, and these initial drips didn't really look any good, so I painted over them and started again. But this is just to show that I'm playing around with this idea and just seeing how it works. But I just wanted to have something to tie together this portrait with this empty space and the rest of the artwork, and the drips is where the words will be going later. Matching the colours to the previous portrait that I've done of Morten proved quite difficult, so really I'm just powering through to get this ugly layer, this first foundation layer done, so that I can then play around with what it looks like as a painting rather than as the reference. Without this structure I won't really know what to do, so I'm just getting down the paint really quickly, playing around with lights and darks, and then at the end I'll play around with how to stylise the painting to be more how I want it to look as an overall image rather than thinking about all the nuances of the details. So both paintings I'm not 100% happy with, but I just trust that I know what I'm doing, and I'm looking forward to just playing around with the creative side of things at the end. Okay, so it's a lot quieter in the studio, so I don't have the copyrighted music going in the background, but yeah, I've got a good foundation, but somehow Katie's not looking as she should, so the colours are a little bit off, it's all a bit orange, so I'm going to be getting the rest done for that foundation, get past this ugly layer, and then I will be adding all my crazy colours to try and add a bit of energy and just get it looking a bit better. But overall I'm happy. I was very confident yesterday, but not so confident today, but that's part of the painting process, and after I get this foundation down, then yeah, I can start having fun with it. But yeah, they're probably wondering why I'm talking to myself, but this is where we're at so far. Yeah, the eyes are a bit tired, and I'm tired today, so I'm maybe adding that into the painting, but yeah. Going to stop for a short break and then get on with it. So I started to wonder whether it was looking not so, as I wanted it, because I was trying to match the literal colours, and yet they weren't really that matched. But looking back at the footage, I think it looked better before adding the crazy greens and purples. I'm filming this voiceover a few days before going back to the studio to finish this section off, and I'm looking forward to adding some texture and just reclaiming the colours again. I'm used to having this confused, ugly layer, as I call it, and I'm just used to going through that confusion and trusting that it all works out in the end. But as a starting point, as a structure, this is really a good place to be, and I'm just powering through, getting down the paint as quickly as possible, like I said before, and then I can just work off it. And I'm finding through filming YouTube that I'm realising that when I'm painting, I'm not really thinking about much, I'm just responding as if my paintbrush is on the reference photo itself. I'm following that like a mirror. So I will often use excess paint from the palette, if I haven't managed to use it all, on any canvas or panels that I have left over. Okay, so the UK is having a bit of a heat wave right now, so excuse the hot look. I love the hot weather, but yeah. Anyway, this is where... Yep, that's where we last left it, so we're nearly there. And Sunday is my favourite day to paint because there's no one in, but you may hear the church below, which I think is back since the pandemic, which is lovely to see everyone having fun and chatting and things. But yeah, it's nice and quiet on the top floor, and I'm going to get back to painting. I've got the blonde hair to contend with, which I don't often paint blonde hair. I paint it kind of stylised, and I don't really spend much time on it in terms of trying to get it looking right, but I'll see what I can do, and then we'll be on the final stages. So I was really struggling with trying to find the right colours for this, and the GoPro was starting to get in the way of this particular angle, but as soon as I started the initial footage, I moved out of the way to get into some more precision, and I was very thankful to find this Naples yellow. Yes. Which allowed that shade to be much easier. But I think with all paintings, it's finding out what that base colour needs to be. It was the same with the Cat Commission and also Georgie 1000's dog, because that had a blue-grey base layer, which is kind of counterintuitive, because it's not what you expect. And it's the same with blonde hair, I imagine. So I watched a few YouTube videos and I kind of used my past artistic knowledge to kind of look at the hair and see what colours I can see coming through. But it certainly wasn't easy, and as you can see, I decided to let it loose and just add some texture into this painting, which will work to my advantage later on with the ideas that I have, thinking a few steps ahead, because this is just the base layer. This is just to get the paint down. It looks like a lot of paint, but there's more I can do later on just to bring up the colours and bring up the energy. Okay. Don't know what's going on here. Let's get this painting finished. So I do realise that this looks a little bit scary here, but I fully trust that in the final stages I will be able to bring it back to this wonderful happy image here. So yeah, I'm not too worried at this stage. I'm just trusting that when we get to the final stage I'll be able to bring it to where it needs to be. Okay, so here it is. So I'm very happy with it, and all that's left now is to pack it up and see what Katie and her family thinks of it. Right, so that's all packed up, nice and secure. Only took me a few seconds, nice and easy. Didn't take long at all. So with the power of YouTube, I can send this to Katie right now and we can see what her and her family think of it. Right then. Got it. Okay. To you. Yep. Why are you giving it to me? So, yeah. Hi everyone, so Chris from the future here. So a slight change in plan because this morning on my doorstep, apparently I filled in the custom form wrong even though I filled it all in correctly like before. So basically get ready for an epic Swedish adventure because I am going to hand deliver this to Katie. I've contacted her already, just need to have the money and time to go do it, and yeah, get ready for a Swedish epic adventure vlog in the near future. And if you're watching this, then it means I'm already in Sweden and I've hit public on this video, so this saga is to be continued. Katie has not seen this video yet, but she's probably watching it right now with me in Sweden, so watch this space and get ready for part 2. I wish I could show you an epic montage right now, but I don't know when I'll be going. So I'm going to upload this now privately, and if you're watching this now, assume that I'm already there. Right, life happens, things change, but we've got to adapt. So time to look up planes and get me to Sweden.